Oh, you've remembered your phone this time, huh?
I did.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Listen,
interesting.
You'd be surprised how many people message me in the middle of the show that are watching the show.
Whatever.
Asking questions and stuff.
Or how many times you see something on Facebook you want to look at.
Not really. Only when you're boring me.
How rude. That's so rude. Very, very rude. What's happening, everybody? It is Sunday.
It is Lauren's birthday, apparently. Happy birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday. It's Sunday Live Haul. This is our weekly show that we do. This is our only show pretty much that we do. Although there is I'm not sure when exactly, but in the very near future, the eBay fall seller update is going to get released. So we will do a special show, like a Wednesday show for that.
We will. We'll do a Wednesday show to go over all of the fall seller updates. I've been on a couple of calls and learned about a couple of them coming up, and then there's another.
Oh.
So
somebody thinks she's in the know.
A lot of people are on the damn calls. Anyway, NDA, we're not allowed to talk about what the things are until things are announced, but they do let us know a few things in advance. Nothing super shocking and nothing really bad so far. So I will preface it to say that somebody's always going to find something to complain about. But honestly, it's no big deal so far.
Well, there is one that I'm pretty excited about, but that's just me. Anyway, it's Sunday Live Haul. I'm Katie. This is Vikki, aka Victoria. Okay, Victoria, when she's being professional and wants to be taken seriously. Okay, who are you today?
I'm Vikki today. Yeah. It's Sunday,
aka my fiance. Anyway, guys, welcome. Thanks for coming to join us. This is our favorite time of the week. We love doing this show, and because we were big babies about it, Teresa hooked us up and updated our spreadsheets that we use to show our weekly numbers. So they're going to be a lot better.
On me.
Excuse me. You are Vikki
on me.
You are Vikki today, a true professional. Victoria would have kept it to herself and let the show go on and not humiliated me in front of the tens of people that are watching right now. And now I'm humiliated. And it's like you don't even care.
In front of the tens.
Yes. So thanks a lot for keeping it professional, Vikki.
Yep.
Oh, she's so rude, you guys. I even gave her water. I carried her stuff up here, and this is the thanks that I get. Unbelievable. We're gonna do We're gonna do a 3-hour show today just for that.
No.
I'm going to explain in detail every T-shirt I have to show you for at least 20 minutes.
I'll leave and come back later.
Anyway, guys, really glad to have you here. We appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us. This is like our little fun time to just kind of chill out and hang out with you guys out in the community and talk about what's been going on with our week and go over our numbers and stuff. Every week we break the show down into 3 parts. The first part, of course, we go over our real numbers, our gross sales, a lot of the costs that come out of that.
Speak for yourself. My sales aren't gross.
Hey-oh, somebody thinks she's a comedian this week. Waka, waka, waka.
You're a jerk.
Your numbers are kind of gross. Anyway, our gross numbers, then we break down our costs and everything. The middle of the show, we go over our sales highlights for the week, some of the cool stuff that we've sold over the past week. And then, of course, we get into the last section of our show, which is the haul, our live haul. And we show some of the cool things that we picked up over this last week. That we
I will tell you next week's Sunday show you do not want to miss. Next week, we'll be doing our show on location from Phoenix, Arizona, again. Back to Phoenix, well, actually Gilbert to be exact, but we will be hanging in Teresa's Airbnb. She might be there for the live show. I hope so. We'll see how she's feeling, or how Mom's feeling, if she can come and hang with us for the show. But we will definitely have some amazing stuff to show because we will be thrifting all weekend. So we always have a good show when we do our shows live from a studio location when we have our thrifting weekends. So
basically what you're saying is that this show is going to be meh, but they don't want to miss out next week's show.
This is okay.
Well,
next week is extra exciting.
Except as it's a flip, it says, wow, Vikki just used a Katy kind of joke. I would like to point out that joke never would have come out of my mouth, okay?
No, she's just way too funny.
I'm a little bit funnier than that. But I will take advantage of making fun of Vikki for trying to joke and
Yes, I tried to be funny for a second. I don't know what I was thinking. I need to learn my role as the terrible straight person in the show.
I'm totally okay with you cracking jokes. You just need to be prepared that I am going to make fun of you for them. So really what you're doing is you're setting it up for me to have everybody laugh at you. So basically that's about it. Anyway, so yeah. What do you do? What have you been doing this week? What's been happening business wise?
So this week I went thrifting one day. I didn't buy a ton. I actually only bought maybe like 20, 25 items, very bread and butter stuff. I'm going to show some of those things today. But yeah, today, this has been a slow week in anticipation of us doing a lot of buying next weekend. I actually didn't even give Crystal anything to list this week. I probably don't have anything for her to list next week. She's just going to have a heck of a lot of stuff to pick up the following week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get caught up on some of my my hard goods that I have. Everything's all photographed. I've just been doing a lot of listing and trying to get caught up, and that's what I'm going to continue to do this week. We actually took a day off yesterday. It was nice. We went over to the BFF's house and hung out at the pool all day in the sun.
Yep. I even was in the pool all day. Usually I do like a couple hours in the pool and then I go take a nap on the patio. But this time I actually stayed in the pool the whole time.
Yeah, and it's been, by the way, anywhere between 110 and 115 degrees here this whole week, and will continue for the rest of the week. So, you know, hanging in the pool is a necessity.
Indeed. Mr. Buys a Lot. $10 super chat. What?
Hello, Mr. Buys a Lot.
Love learning from you too. So great. Thank you. We really appreciate the super chat. You'll be a little super chat. Super chat. It's super chat day. Yow. You like that?
Sure.
You're a liar.
So yeah, we'll try to take some pictures next weekend. It's been tough. You know, it's tough when you go into the stores and stuff like that. Like sourcing videos are kind of a thing of the past right now until, I don't know, what we get on the other side of this COVID mess. Just because it's uncomfortable enough with the mask on, and you know, I know some people are managing to do it, but it's no fun for me. But we'll take some pictures. We get to hang out with Teresa a little bit, socially distant. We are going to be getting together with Amanda and Clara, the List Perfectly ladies, for another little socially distant get together. So we'll see a couple of our friends in the Phoenix area that we haven't been able to see the last couple times we've gone.
Basically, when she says we'll take some pictures, what she means is we will get there, she'll take a picture of a pile of clothes, and then she'll forget to take any other pictures. Then on the way home, we'll be coming back into Vegas, and she'll be like, we didn't take any pictures. That's basically what's going to happen.
No, Katie and I watch very little YouTube. I don't know who Mr. Buys a Lot is. I didn't know that he had a channel, but thank you for popping in it to flip it. We don't watch other people's YouTubes. I know that sounds terrible, but we've mentioned it many times that I can't watch YouTube and I work 24/7. I can't watch YouTube while I'm working because I'm too distracted.
Yeah.
I have to have some mindless sitcom or something playing in the background, or I can't get anything done. So we watch very, very little YouTube. I had never heard of that channel, and I know that there are thousands of good YouTubers with lots of good information. Yeah. So please don't take that personally.
I mean, no, we'll hear about a channel, we'll go look at it, and it'll be somebody that has 120,000 subscribers, and we're like, ooh. So
we wouldn't even know who they were.
So the last couple of weeks, I've been doing like a lot of, you know, like I went to Torgum a couple of weeks ago, and I've been doing a lot of online buys. And I've really been, because I've got like all this access to inventory now, and now that I'm wanting to do like the Torgum thing like once a month, I'm really trying to buckle down and get lots more stuff listed. So like this week's actually been a really heavy listing week for me. Like I'm getting like at least 20 items up a day. But when I do 20 items, because I'm using like List Perfectly to cross post and stuff, I'm getting, you know, 20 items on eBay, and then Etsy, and then Grailed, and then Mercari, plus I'm doing posts on Instagram. So 20 items is actually like 80 listings, plus whatever I do on Instagram. So, you know, in the past several months, I really haven't, most days I'm like anywhere from 5 to 10 new listings across all the platforms. So to be doing at least 20 every day is like a huge jump in listing for me. And now I'm just running out of stuff to list that I have pictures of. So tomorrow is going to be a big picture day for me, because I probably have well over 100 T-shirts that are ready to be photographed and measured and weighed, so I can get right back to work.
So everybody is talking about the heat here. Yeah, it is. It is. Again, I know everybody says it, but Arizona and Nevada, it's a dry heat. Anything over 105 is hot, dry or not, it just is. But somebody's talking about LA is up over 100. You know, LA at 100 would be
really
like 140
hot
in Arizona because you have all that humidity, and it really does make a difference. You walk outside and you're soaking wet. So it is a big difference. So we love the summer heat. We're just ending, probably the next 4 weeks or so will be the worst of it, and then we'll go on the downswing.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
So Kara wants to know when I'm going to be on the virtual flea next. I think last week, when we did the show, I didn't know yet, but I did win the MVP again. So I've been on the show. I've been on the virtual flea. I'm a 4-peat. I've been on it 4 times, and all 4 times I've won MVP. And usually what that means is you get to go the next weekend. But I was like, I need to take a break. I have to get caught up on like regular work. Like there's a lot of prep that goes into it. And for me, like doing it weekly is really hard to do and keep up on top of everything else. So I'm actually scheduled to do my MVP spot on the 27th. I've scheduled it for later in the month. So that gives me a few weeks, and we're going to be going to Phoenix and stuff. So I will be back on the 27th. And I already have some really cool stuff that I already know I'm going to be auctioning off for that show. So I will let you guys know when it gets closer to that. But so for any of you guys who did vote for me last weekend, I just want to say thank you, because I did get an MVP spot again. So
I think a lot of the people that do the MVP stuff are not hitting it as hard as Katy full time on all these other platforms. So I think the people that do it like every single week, because I think that it is, like you said, it is pretty time consuming. So for you to do that every week plus do your other stuff, it's something's got to give. So that's why you can't do it every single week. But it's a lot of fun, and she does well with it.
For sure. Well, and to be honest, there aren't really any other vendors that do it every single week. There's none that do it every single week. Sometimes there'll be somebody who will do it like a couple weekends in a row. But yeah, it's hard to sustain. Like I can do 2 weekends in a row, and then I'm like, okay, I got to take a break.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you really just gotta, there's too much other stuff there's so much good stuff that I have to sell that just isn't going to sell on that platform in that kind of a environment or on that kind of a venue. So it's like you got to balance the stuff out. All right, let's get right into the show. 13 minutes into the show.
13-minute intro.
We're going to jump right into it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. And like I said, the wonderful Teresa went ahead and updated our really cool spreadsheet that we use, because we have the spreadsheet that I plug in all of our numbers in so that we can break down our numbers. And the original one she made for us like late 2018. So a lot of stuff has changed. We've got a different platform, so she's kind of updated it for us to make it a little bit make a little bit more sense and work a little better for what we're trying to show. We're going to start with my numbers, and I'm sure you guys know what that means. Yes, Vikki did beat me this week. We're back to
We only start with your numbers when they're not the better of the two.
It's not me, or we start with your numbers if they're not the better of the two. Basically, it's more fun when you show the lower numbers first, and then you show the other one. So anyway, yeah, so this week, I didn't have the flea going on, but also my eBay sales have just completely dropped out over the last week. So I didn't even, barely over $1,200 there with my eBay sales. I had 2 0 sales days and a couple of other days that were very, very low, like $50 or below. So it was pretty dismal week for eBay. So I had 19 orders on eBay, 6 on Etsy, 4 on Instagram, and then 3 I just have Grailed and Bacardi put together, but those are actually just Grailed orders. So I had a total outgoing orders of 32. So my eBay gross sales, $1,226.31, which I really want to be able to hit 2,000 on eBay. So this is pretty low. Etsy, $438.99. Instagram, and then again, this is without the virtual fleas, just sales through Instagram, $250. And then Grailed was $259. So my total gross sales, I did make it over 2,000, but it should have been more than that. $2,174.30. My Etsy sales are down really low too. Vikki is like way above me on Etsy for the last 30 days, which is kind of a first for her. So I think that's pretty awesome.
I never beat her on Etsy.
And so my shipping cost, $130.26. You can see the breakdown of all the fees there. We have Grailed and Bacardi together because they're pretty similar fee structure. It just makes it easier to save a little space. I will point out for anyone that notices, we on both of our little graphs here, or little charts here, the promoted listing fees, promoted listings is gone. And what we had Teresa do is just add in, I think on mine, we added in like a couple, like 2 percentage points, and on Vicki's like 1 into our eBay fees. Because the truth is, like, we don't usually have a ton of promoted listing fees, but we have some. And so this kind of balances it out without having to have a whole separate line for it.
Yeah. So there were some people asking for a copy of this. You can certainly ask Teresa to send you a copy of it. It's just a spreadsheet to plug the numbers in. But, you know, this is not accurate to the penny. So everyone is going to want to do their own type of accounting. This is not what you want to use for your accounting methods. This is just for us to do a quick accounting to show you guys.
Absolutely.
You definitely don't want to be using this for your spreadsheet for your accountant, because it's not accurate to the penny. And your stuff is never going to match. Yeah. So it's in order to give you those numbers, everybody can see what people's gross numbers are, and all of these fees on the different platforms are the same for every person. So this is for you guys to show, okay, this is how much we spent on the goods, and this is what our actual card costs are. And then of course there are other costs associated with running a business, but those are different for everyone. Yeah. So this is just for you guys to be able to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges and what have you. So
right. So we certainly don't use this when we're like doing our taxes or anything, because it's leaving out a lot of information that is necessary for that. But it's definitely good for breaking it down and giving you guys a general idea of how we're doing.
And Tommy, T-Money just updated this about an hour ago, so chances of her having it updated in the file on
Probably
Facebook
not.
is slim to none.
So you can see the breakdown of all the fees there. Total cost $348.87, and then cost of goods for everything that I sold, $440. So
your cost of goods are always high because
yes.
you spend up for your stuff.
So $440. Now remember that you know, this is just the cost of goods that I sold. So there's all the other stuff that I bought that hasn't sold yet that's not included there. So total net sales $1,385.43. Gross average sale price $67.95. So it's okay. I took offers on like some really old stuff. So there were quite a few like really low price stuff dragging my ASP down. And so my net average sale price, $43.29. But I really do want to try and keep that number above 70. But whatever. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. All right. So you want to go ahead and look at yours? Let's do it.
It's pretty much the same as last week, honestly. I don't think it's very different. So I had 36 orders on eBay for a total of $2,303.33. I know. Somebody's going to play that number, right? So 8 on Etsy. 8 is pretty good on Etsy. 3 Poshmark and 5 Macari for a total of 52 orders. Again, 50 to 65 is pretty much my standard every week. So I did $654 on Etsy, which is a very good week. Poshmark $168, Macari $197 for a total of $3,322 for the week. My shipping costs were fairly high. I did have a lot of international sales, both on Etsy and eBay this week. Just happy to report, by the way, this is my very first week of being on managed payments. And I had 4 sales that were international on managed payments this week.
That's awesome.
So that was my biggest fear about getting into managed payments was losing some of my international sales. And I know that they said that they've been folding them back in and adding them back in, but I want to say that I am proof that that is happening and has happened. So I've heard it complained about still that it isn't, you know, that people are not getting as many orders, but I got 4 this week alone in my first. So nice. I'm not going to complain about that. So my total gross sales, $33.22. Shipping again was $344. My eBay fees, which include promoted listing fees, an average of $310. Etsy fees, $55.60. Macari fees, $27.11. We did include the Macari fees at the new fee structure, even though they have not gone into effect yet. I think it goes into effect the end of September. Poshmark fees for a total cost of $736 and change. My cost of goods is always relatively low. This is actually even lower than normal, of $178. So my total net sales, but just about $2,400 for the week. And that's a good week for me. Anything over $2,000 net is where I like to be for the week. $63, almost $64 my gross ASP, which is good. I try to stay over 50 or 55. And my net ASP, $46.30.
Nice.
So it was a good week.
Yeah, your net sales were like double mine. What? That's pretty good. All right. So those are our numbers for the week. I feel pretty good about our new spreadsheet that
I do.
Teresa put together for us. Is very helpful. I think that gives better information for you guys. Anyway, so hopefully my next week will be better. And speaking of managed payments, yeah, I went into managed payments a day after you. And as far as the managed payments part, it's fine. I mean, I don't have any issues with it. I mean, I've definitely had the 2-0 sales days, but I don't think that's anything to do with managed payments necessarily. eBay just in general has been kind of slow for me recently. And then I think both of us decided to do weekly payouts, right?
Yes.
How do we feel about that so far? I mean,
well,
we haven't been paid yet.
We haven't been paid yet.
Yeah.
So I will say that when you first start out on managed payments, if you choose to do weekly payments, you're going to be missing a big chunk of your money for like the first 2 weeks. It's going to be a rolling 2 weeks that it's going to take you to get caught up, I think, to get your normal deposits or what your normal. So I used to deposit my money once a week anyway. So I would transfer every Monday after I did my shipping. Now my weekly deposits are on Tuesdays. I don't know how long it's going to take my bank to process it yet. So, because I'm just going to get my first one this week. So it could be processed by Wednesday. It might take until Thursday. I don't think it'll take any longer than that. I do have a major bank, so I don't think it's going to take much longer than that. But the way that they don't process payments on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday does mean that that first payout is less than half of the amount that I have sitting in the account. You know what I mean? So
to get used to like how the cash flow.
You've got to get used to the cash flow taking longer to process. And I understand that for me or for Katy or for some other people, that may not be that big of a concern because we're not counting on our payouts daily to survive. So be prepared if that is something that is your situation. There is no way to speed it up. It is what it is. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to get caught up and feel more comfortable with your payouts going into your account. And you know, I've had to use a different account for the first time this past week than I've used in a long time because I'm used to using just having my money in PayPal and using that to make purchases, to pay my lister, to do all of those things. Well, now I had to actually take it out of a different account while my money's floating. So it takes some time.
We'll just get used to how the cash flow is a little bit different now. As Gary pointed out, about final value fees being taken out under managed payments. That's one of the things I'm really happy about.
I like that a lot
because we've both been doing Etsy for a long time. That's how they operate, and it's so much nicer to just have those fees taken out as you make your sales. And so you're not going to end up having as big of monthly bills due to eBay.
Fee netting is the way to go. I mean,
nice.
Every other platform does it. It's the way to go. And eventually eBay is going to be, working for your somehow it's going to work for your monthly store fee and stuff like that too. Right now, you're going to have a fee due for your store fee, and I believe it's going to count for any like FedEx charges. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's going to be your store fee and FedEx charges. And so I'm kind of excited for that to be a little bit different,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm okay with it.
Let's go ahead and jump into our sales highlights for the week. You got something real fancy going on here.
I know, right? This is the epitome of ugly, right? So this is a vintage blouse. It didn't take too long to sell, maybe a few months. But this is a women's blouse, not a men's. If this were men's, it would have sold for probably $30 or $40 more than it did sell for, and it would have sold faster. Unfortunately, it's a women's and it's on the smaller side, so it did take a little bit longer to sell. This particular brand is not a special brand. It was just more of the Picasso collection.
Ooh.
If you find this, I know I showed this in a haul. If you find men's dress shirts like this in silk, grab them. They do sell very well and they sell for a lot. So I did take an offer on this. It sold for $85. I think I paid maybe $4 or $5 for it.
Fancy.
At most. And hello, Allison, for the fourth time.
All right, my first one, you guys will probably remember this from last week. I showed this during the haul. I went through Brigantine Castle and survived. This was an old haunted house in New Jersey back in the early 80s. I think it closed in like 84. It really wasn't open for all that long, just like a few years, I think. Anyway, so I got this and I thought like, oh, somebody's going to remember back in the day when they used to go there and they're going to want it. And sure enough, I got an offer from somebody. I had it listed, you can see on sale at $97.99, and I had somebody offer, I think, $75. And they sent me a message saying like, he and his wife, he used to go there when they were younger, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And so I countered with 85 and he accepted. So I sold this for $85. It wasn't listed for very long, only like a few days. And this is one of the items that I got at Torgum. So if you remember, like pretty much everything I bought there, just about everything I got there was $10 a piece. So I paid $10 for this t-shirt, sold it for $85. So far I've sold I've only probably listed about a third of the stuff I got there so far, where I spent a total of $890, and I've already made over $350 off of 4 items only from there, and this is one of them that I sold for $85. Yes.
So I just wanted to answer a couple of questions before we flick over to the next thing. Mo, UPS will be an option before the end of September on eBay.
Okay.
That will be a shipping option before the end of September. They did announce that they're going to be doing it. We have been told it's going to be before the end of September.
Cool.
It's not there yet. I'm pretty excited for that because it looks like it's going to be some good pricing options. And then scroll up a little bit so I can see the other questions there. Up. Mr. Buys a Lot asked a question. So do certain types of vintage clothes sell faster than others? Do shoes sell faster than dresses or jackets or blouses, etc.? Or do purses sell faster? I have to say that I don't really notice a rule of thumb for vintage clothing as to what sells faster than it really, if you have a good vintage item, it's going to sell. And vintage clothing does not sell fast. That's pretty much the answer.
T-shirts, they do.
Unless you're doing vintage T-shirts, which happen to be a pretty hot commodity right now. But vintage clothing in general, whether it's men's or women's, and the article of clothing itself, really just depends on how nice of an item it is, and if you happen to have that right buyer that fits that item, that fits that aesthetic, to find it and sell it quickly. I really don't think there's any rule of thumb as to what sells faster or what sells fastest.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up for you. This one.
So this is just a vintage Mr. Christmas. I know I've talked about these before. Absolutely, whenever you see these, pick them up. They do have the newer ones. They're not made quite as well. They actually got cheaper as they started making them more readily available, but certain models they don't make anymore, and this happens to be one of them. I picked this up last year sometime for $4. And it sold for the price that you see there of $94.86. Plus they paid international shipping. This is actually going to Peru of all places. And I paid $4 for it. And this is even missing the adapter cord, but those cords are very easy to find. I just don't go out of my way to buy them because they're pretty common. You can grab them on any, bagged wall at a thrift store, and buyers know that too. So I tested it with the batteries and it works fine. And
cool. Very cool. All right, next one up is this Holyfield versus Holmes fight T-shirt. I've had this for a little while, probably 4 months or so, and I have it listed there for $139.99. But I did offer to buyers, which I am really terrible about doing that regularly. So I think a few weeks had gone by and I hadn't sent out any offers. So I went ahead and sent out offers to everybody that I could. And one of them was for this T-shirt. The offer went out for $97.99. And somebody messaged me and said, how fast can I get this? And I was like, well, I can send it to you priority if you choose priority. And they were like, but you said free shipping. And I said, that's for first class. And then I was like, you know what? If you go ahead and buy it for the price I sent out, I will send it priority. So I'm actually going to send it priority because it's like, whatever. It's going to cost me $7.75.
Versus $4 and change.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to sell a shirt for $100. I'm going to get the money. Anyway, so I usually do pretty well with these boxing T-shirts. And I probably paid like maybe $25 for this T-shirt and then sold it for $97. All right, I see Kathy. Is that like Canadian?
It is.
That's a Canadian super chat.
Do you need to say it with A?
Yeah, well, now I can't because you just ruined it. I would have done a Canadian super chat song, but you basically took the punchline out from underneath it.
Sorry.
And it won't even be funny, eh? Sorry is what you should be saying, not sorry. Nobody here understands what sorry means if they're Canadian. They want to hear sorry.
Sorry.
But you're quite rude.
Take off, hoser.
No. Kathy, thank you for the $14 super chat. She says, thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. I've learned so much from the both of you. Thanks, Kathy, for coming and watching, and thanks for the super chat, A. Do you have a sweet Canadian accent? I'd like to know. What do you think? Do you think Kathy has a really
She
good
may.
one? I hope so. I like Canadian accents. I like Canadians, all right? I have some in my family, so.
My whole family's Canadian, so.
Yeah, I have family from Canada. My nephew is half Canadian, eh? So anyway, Kathy, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, so that is my boxing T-shirt. Go ahead, eh? Jerk.
I'm sorry, I ruined it for you.
You did.
I ruined it. So this is just, don't forget about these shape-up sneakers. Most of the regular shape-ups, they still sell. They still sell for like $30 to $40 a pair. But more specifically, and I think I showed these in a haul video, the Skechers for work. Those are the shape-ups that you want. The shape-up sneakers for work. Those are the ones that people wear. Black sells better than white. But they sell pretty well. I think I paid, I can't remember what I paid. It had to have been like either $5 to $8 for these. But these were in excellent condition, and they sold for the price you see there, $91, the sale price. And yeah, I mean, they were practically new. And I did put that. They appear to have been worn maybe once or tried on. They really didn't have any signs of wear. So they were pretty awesome. So let's see. There's a question there, Larry Scott. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Larry. So Larry wants to know if any companies still use single stitch. You know what? I don't know. So, okay. So here's the thing with single stitch is that yes, most single stitch stuff is vintage. There are some companies like the ones you said, Larry, who have used single stitch. Is more like a retro thing. I feel like that's something that happened a lot like within the last 10 years. I don't know if they still do that, if that's still a thing. So I'm sure maybe a little bit, but so sometimes for some people, if you're just starting out trying to learn about t-shirts, you might be tricked by that single stitch, but
it will confuse people sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. But, when you've been doing it for a while, you can pretty much recognize those pretty quickly as kind of, you know, it's really just more of a design thing to make it look different. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if any of them still do it now today, but definitely there are a lot out there from like within the last 10 years, but they do look, to me at least, they look distinctively different. But I understand, like, for
it's the single stitch is not always the end all and be all, and it does confuse people that are new.
Yeah. And it won't let me take Larry's comment off. No, it went away. All right. Let's go back to here. You done with your shoes?
I am.
All right.
All you.
Next up is this t-shirt. So this t-shirt is another one I got when I went to Torgum. And, you know, I always talk about, like, you know, picking up Jesus shirts and stuff like that, like Christian vintage t-shirts.
Christian sells.
Yes, absolutely. And so, you know, this one to some people might not have been as obvious. But when I saw this, I thought it was a cool design. And I thought, okay, this is, you know, doesn't have like, you know, a picture of Jesus on it or anything like that. But I thought, I bet this will be a good seller. It says salt and light, and if you look up close, it's from Bible verses Matthew 5:13 and 14. And for anyone who is familiar or is not familiar, that is when Jesus gave his Sermon on the Mount and does the whole thing talking about, you know, being the salt of the earth. And so just kind of a cool design t-shirt, and I went ahead and got it. So again, paid $10 for this t-shirt, listed it within probably about an hour. Like you can see, I have it listed for $139.99, but it never did go on sale. So I actually listed it to go on sale for $97.99. And I had someone pretty much immediately send me an offer for, I think, $80. And it hadn't gone on sale yet. So I just came back and said, I'll sell it to you for $100. And they took it. And so I sold this t-shirt for $100. And literally I paid $10 for it and had it listed for maybe 30 minutes before it sold for $10 or for $100. So it's not always going to be super obvious. It's not always going to be Jesus on the cross in some crazy graphic. It looks like a Harley Davidson t-shirt. It's, you know, there's a lot more subtleties to it and stuff that's going to be desirable by somebody who wants some cool vintage Christian t-shirt. So
they're talking about Striper in the chat. So Katy has met Oz Fox, who's the guitar player from Striper, lives here in town, and he's a friend of ours.
He's a friend of yours.
He's a friend of mine.
I've never had a conversation with the dude, so
he seems nice. He's a super nice guy. It's pretty funny when you can say, so I was not super into Striper, even though I loved the hair bands. I only liked Striper marginally. I got more into them probably after 2000 because I'd been to see them a few times in concert after that, and they're just a much more cohesive, incredible group that you wouldn't expect to be as good as they are. So anyway, they're fantastic. So my little story about this is that I was trying to find a church here in town that spoke to me. And a couple of years ago, I went to church with Oz a few times. He took me to church. What? Quite literally took me to his church and
when I was a kid,
the pastor. And
I remember we went and had.
I didn't like the church, but I like Oz a lot.
I remember when I was a kid, our family went and had dinner at this with these people at their house that were from church. And the guy, first of all, we watched Strange Brew. Speaking of take off hoser. So he had us watch Strange Brew. So this was like a church gathering. All these people we met at church. We watched Strange Brew, great movie. And then he had us listen to, he had a bunch of Petra albums, which is like, Petra's like, it's sort of like the Christians Slayer. Not quite like hairband. I think they're a little bit more heavier than like your hairband stuff. So they're kind of like the Christian heavy metal of the 80s. Anyway, I just remember he was really into Petra. Yeah, so
anyway. Michael Sweet does still have pipes, actually, and he's still a handsome guy. People talk about those guys being good looking. Michael Sweet is still a really good looking man, actually, and he can still really, really sing. Unlike a lot of people from that era that have lost their voices over the years, like a lot of people do when they get older, he can still handle it. So,
all right, cool. So, Jacob says, I remember Petra from the Columbia House booklet. Oh man,
that's funny.
I remember ordering stuff off of Columbia, that's for sure. Buy 12 CDs for a penny each.
Yep. Well, listen, I was back when it was buy 12 cassettes for a penny. So let's not talk about that.
Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and go to your next one.
So again, don't sleep on these. I think I showed one last weekend. Don't sleep on these DVD VHS combos.
Don't let them slide off the table.
Don't let them slide off the crooked table. My photo, is that what you're talking about? So I paid about $4 for this at a garage sale. I ordered the remote control because this particular one sells a lot better with the remote control. The remote control cost me $6 from another seller. And here we are. $131 and change plus shipping is what it sold for. The remote is brand new. You can see in the photos because I ordered it. And so don't sleep on these. The better the brands, RCA, Sony, Toshiba, these are the brands that that people want to buy.
Sandra wants to know if you opened that up.
If I opened what up?
If you opened the electronics up. It's a
Ew.
joke.
Ew. No, I did not open it up.
And Allison says, let's be honest, it was 8 tracks.
It could have been 8 tracks. I'm not as old as you, Granny, but I'm getting there. So do I ship them for flat rate, Mal? No, I charge a flat rate shipping, but there is no flat rate for them. I will ship them depending on where it's going. It's either going to go priority or FedEx ground. If it's going 1 or 2 states over, it'll probably go priority because the pricing is not very expensive. If it's going further, it's going to be FedEx ground. Usually it's going to cost me around that $19 to $25 range. It's okay if I eat a few dollars, and I'm okay. You know, I just try to keep the shipping looking reasonable for a customer. Yeah, for sure. All right, next one up for me is starting to sell my winter wear, guys. This Polo Ralph Lauren Moose sweater. So for any of you guys that remember, I had bought did a few bulk buys off of the Ballet Picker. He's another YouTuber. And this was one of the items I bought two different times. I bought Polo Ralph Lauren sweaters from him, and this was the first one I bought. And I paid like $35 for it, I believe. And so I listed it high because I'm like, you know what, it'll hit closer to fall, winter time, and I will get the price that I want for it. And sure enough, I did not get this price that I have on here, but somebody offered $145, and I was more than happy to take $145. Like I said, I paid $35 for it. So to me, $145 is definitely a decent flip. And I have another one, not exactly the same as this one. I think the other one I have is like brown. It's like got a V-neck, but pretty much the same pattern on it. So yeah, it's winter. It's winter somewhere. These Polo Ralph Lauren sweaters like this do really, really well. And I think a lot of times people, when you see the listings, people do underprice them. They usually go easily 130 up to 175, let's say. I probably could have sold this one for more had I waited a little longer, but there was no point. Wait till you get in Q4, it even sells better. So Jacob and Patty, thank you very much for using my code to get into List Perfectly. I will say, if, again, and we do talk about it a lot, List Perfectly is a sponsor of this show. They are also friends of ours, the ladies that own List Perfectly. So if you happen to use the code that is linked below, it will give you 30% off your first month for your subscription. And we talk about it all the time. It is a game changer in this business. And I honestly have no complaints. I love, love, love List Perfectly. And I love the ease that it has given me to list on multiple platforms and increase my revenue across all platforms. So,
well, like I was saying before, like I'm hitting like at least 20 listings a day. And in the past, if I did 20 listings, I'd be 20 listings. Now I hit 80 listings in one day.
In about the same time.
I mean, not exactly the same time, but it's like maybe it adds another half an hour of work. Because I am taking the time to kind of fine tune everything, but still, I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I listed 22 items this morning before the show, and I put them on all 4 platforms.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm going to go and do some more after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're up.
So, yeah, these lamps, these were not in fantastic shape. I mean, I think I listened to my friend Laura Franzica, the other admin and one of the other admins in our group, who said, don't do anything to clean them up. Sell them as found. Somebody will want them as found. And this is what they looked like as found. I dusted them off. I wiped them down a little bit, and that is it. I paid $5 for these at a garage sale. Nothing fantastic. And they sold for $140. The buyer paid $50 shipping. They actually shipped a little bit closer. And I think it actually cost me $30 to ship. So
how'd you ship those?
FedEx ground.
But how'd you ship them?
Somebody helped me make a box, a Franken box.
What?
Although actually we did just cut the box down. This one was not a Franken box.
Excuse me, I found the box that worked for you.
That's true.
And then I cut it down for you. So don't shortchange me.
Well, sometimes you have to actually create a box. This was not a box creation.
This was nice when I found exactly the right box for it, and it was perfect. Because sometimes I'll go into and be like, oh, I gotta figure this out. And then magically the box rises up from the ground and goes, ah. And it's really nice. So you're welcome. Jerk. All right. Anything else about these lamps?
Nope. I think the title says it all. They were.
All right. Next one for me is this Etsy sale. I only had 6 sales on Etsy, so I grabbed kind of the most noteworthy ones, and this is one of them. Only because it's such a this shirt. It's like I paid like at most $10 for it. This might have been, I think this was a shirt I picked up in Arizona, so I actually might have only spent like $5 on it in one of
might even be less.
Yes, but I'll say $10. Let's just say $10. Stuff like this. I mean, I love 80s t-shirts. They may not be like technically the hottest thing right now. There's other stuff that's going for a lot more and a lot faster.
And this is not your stuff you're going to sell on the flea, but you love it.
No, anyway. I love this kind of stuff. It's kind of quirky, weird. Some guy, John Kyle, ran for Congress in Arizona back in the 80s. And, I'm not from Arizona, so I don't remember him. I don't know who he is. But it's just a cool t-shirt. It's got the little front hit.
Would you have remembered anybody that ran for
the back hit
in the 80s for Congress in any state?
In Oregon, if I heard, sure.
You were so young.
I remember Dukakis. I remember he wasn't Oregon, that was national, but whatever. Anyway, but I think the graphics are cool, and there's people who are really into politics, and so I like the old political shirts. Anyway, it's just a cool t-shirt.
It's funny.
And so let's see what I sold it for. No. Scat it out. Okay, $69.99. It was actually 10% off, so it was $62.99. $62.99.
Ridiculous.
But I love it. Like,
I really see. Mo says he recently retired from the U.S. Senate.
There you go.
Who'da thunk?
But and I really didn't have this one listed for that long. I think it's from within like the last month, because I'm pretty sure it's from when we went to Arizona the last time. So didn't really take all that long. Sold it for $63. And I guarantee you somebody else, had they listed this, maybe they would have thrown it up for like $20 or something like that.
I would not even have bought it.
So you wouldn't have even bought it. See, when I saw it, I was like, yes, that t-shirt's awesome. So
I would not have listed it had someone given it to me.
You're crazy. All right, next one for you. Ugh. Ah.
Well, she's a little bit less creepy than most dolls.
Her eyes are kind of bugging.
She's not a creepy one. She's kind of cute. Picked this up when we were in Utah.
I don't know.
I can't remember if I got this one in Utah or Arizona. One of the two. I paid $20, so I got this one at an antique store. Which clearly it's not antiques, but it was just an antique store that I walked in, and it was the only thing I purchased in there. So I paid $20 for it. I knew it would sell, and I knew it would sell for a good price. You know, early 80s and 90s African American dolls do sell for good prices because there were far fewer of the toy models made in African American dolls. And little girls, little black girls, did not have a doll that looked like them to go and buy. And so I think 80s and 90s is very good as far as dolls for nostalgia to begin with. But finding one that's African American is going to increase the value right there. So, it just wasn't something that was sold as often. There were not as many varieties made with darker skin. So that makes them more collectible. So I paid $20 for it. It sold for $160. The shipping actually cost me about $22 to ship because it did go to Florida, of course, and it was fairly large, So it was still a good flip though.
There you go. There you go. Everyone's scared of the dolls. Yeah, she still has that big giant one that she has in her office, and for some reason it's always like in a different position, like facing the wall, or
it's got like one head
creeping me out. It did, and I'm not even joking, you guys, because here's the thing, like I like to be funny and I like to be goofy about the whole doll thing. I am not somebody who's scared of dolls at all. I just think it's fun to act like they're super overly creepy. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to admit, I didn't even tell Vikki this, that the really tall one that's like 3 feet tall or whatever the heck it is, I went to go walk to the front door, I think, and I saw its face out of the corner of my eye, and it legit made me kind of go, ooh. Like it wasn't like a full on, it wasn't like a full on, but it was more like a face, like it didn't register right away as a doll, and I just went, ooh. So it was just like a little mini.
So there is the one. That one is kind of creepy. This one here is not creepy. I think she's cute. She's got a cute little face. There's nothing creepy about this doll. I sell creepy dolls. I will admit when it's a creepy shit doll. This one's not creepy. It's just cute.
You're incorrect. All right. Next one for me is the San Francisco 49ers clip ankle sweatshirt. Now, if you've watched the show for any amount of time, you know that I really, really like picking up the cliff angle sweaters. You don't find the sweatshirts as often, but the sweaters, I love the sweaters, and it's one of those things that I always say people undersell them, blah, blah, blah. But when I do find the sweatshirts, I grab those too. And I remember when I bought this, I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but I think I remember I paid up for it. I may have paid like $40 to $50 for it. So let's just be on the safe side and say I paid $50 for it. Because I think it might have been like in a, when I was in California, we were in California, it might have been at one of the Buffalo exchanges there. So I feel like I was desperate for some cool inventory.
It's possible.
I'm like, I'm going to pay $50.
While you're babbling, I just want to
I'm not babbling. Important information being told here. Hold on a second so I can look outraged into the camera.
You want to show the screen because I was going to say something about your screen. I can see that you've had over 1,000 sales recently on Etsy. I was going to say that's a pretty big deal.
Thanks, man.
I haven't come even close to that on Etsy. So that's all I was going to acknowledge. You're over 1,000 sales.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And you decided to get rude.
I'm sorry. Okay, when you decided you were going to say something nice to me, you said, while you're babbling.
Yes.
So you didn't exactly set it up like you were about to say a compliment. It was more like, now I'm going to say something very assholery-ish.
What assholery-ish, whatever.
Anyway. But I appreciate it.
So we've got about 200 people watching right now. Those of you that do like the show, please give us a thumbs up. We do appreciate that. We are a little baby YouTube channel in the world of reseller YouTube channels. Baby meaning we've had the damn channel for 3 years almost, but we don't have a toddler age. Toddler age.
For those of you that maybe this is the first time watching the show, yes, she is this abusive all the time, just so that you know. All right, so go ahead and why am I saying go ahead? Let's go ahead and get the picture big again. So when I was saying about the clip angle, I did pay up for this. I didn't necessarily know if I'd be able to sell it for as much as like a sweater. But I was like, you know what? I think it's really cool. I like the graphics in great condition. So let's see how much I sold it for. I did not sell it for that much. It was 10% off, which means I sold it for $157.49.
I hope Cheryl's not wearing her headphones today because you are particularly loud.
$157.49. And you know, speaking of 3 years, Vikki and I have been together for about 3 years, and you'd think by now she would have realized that when she tells me not to do something, I am sure to do the opposite. So
true.
If you want to have any influence on my behavior, you have to take a different approach, is what I'm saying. And I feel like you're smart enough that you should have learned this.
See, Sandra's already typed in, Vikki, don't challenge her. I know.
Anyway, sold this puppy for $157.49. So that's my deal.
Cheryl, I was just trying to protect your ears, my friend.
Yeah, that's how it is.
When she watches with her headphones,
you know what?
Inevitably,
the show isn't about Cheryl.
Katy gets loud.
It's not about Cheryl. It's what the rest of it. There's 200
whatever.
people watching right now, not just Cheryl. All right, go ahead.
So this is a jacket that I had, I hadn't had it listed very long, maybe a couple of weeks. I picked this up from our friend Danny. Danny actually hates selling clothing. Danny Ackerman, she hates selling clothing. So every once in a while, when we have a meetup or something, we actually tried a meetup a little over a month ago, which did not go very well because we had to wear masks and we couldn't hear each other. It was terrible. But anyway, she brought a couple of vintage leather jackets and a pair of boots. And she's like, do you want these? I don't want them. And I bought them from her. So you can see this is very old, but it's a 1950s vintage leather jacket. It is really, really beat up. It is really well broken in. It is really, really comfortable looking. Like this is a true James Dean jacket. So this, I knew I had to list high, and they do sell for quite a bit in this price range. I did have a buyer on Etsy who kept asking me 900 questions, asked me for a bunch more photos. And then that same buyer came and bought it on eBay instead of Etsy, because I don't allow returns on Etsy and I do on eBay. And he's a little concerned about sizing. I think it's going to be fine. But anyway, I took an offer for $350. I have about $15 into this. I did not know it was worth anywhere near this when I got it, by the way. I just bought it being vintage. I wasn't sure exactly how old it was.
Usually,
I didn't even look at it. I just knew it was a vintage leather jacket and I was taking it.
But any vintage motorcycle jacket is minimum over $100.
Right. And that's what I was thinking. It was going to be in the $100 range. I didn't know it was that old until I got it home and did some photos and, took a little bit more, care with doing some research. But, by looking at it, I didn't know how old it was at first.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to my next one. Remember this t-shirt? This was from I think a couple weeks ago. And I know I got the name right the first time, but now I don't remember how I said it. Did I say Okoe?
Okoe?
Okoe? See, now I'm probably saying it wrong. I got it right the first time, and now I don't remember. Anyway, I like all the rafting t-shirts, but this one in particular is super cool because it's got like the Grim Reaper going on there. It's just a really cool graphic. And so I priced it super high, and somebody made an offer for 83, and I was like on Grail, and I was like, you know what? What's the likelihood that in all reality I'm going to sell a vintage rafting t-shirt for more than this? I mean, I think it's a pretty sweet t-shirt. So, and this guy thought it was pretty sweet. And I'm like, 83, that's a good deal. I think I paid 25 for it because I bought it from Jesse at Yesterday's Fits. And I remember being $25. So not a bad flip because I only had it, I think, for a couple of weeks. So I didn't have it listed for very long. And I even had this up on, I showed it during the virtual flea, and I think I was asking for like 65 or 75 on there. So yeah, $83. And it's a sweet t-shirt. I love the graphic. Look at him. Look at him.
Sure.
Look at him. Mm-hmm. It says fear no evil, but then it's like you're going right into this guy's face and he's got like a big blade there. Like it just seems like he should be a little scared, maybe. I don't know. It's just me. All right, go ahead.
So this was a pretty good sale. I picked this up with that big, huge lot of women's clothing I got a couple weeks ago. I had hundreds of pieces. I apologize. The photos are a little bit blown out. We're working on doing some good black photos. Mm-hmm. But this is a vintage. This is a brand I did bring up in our in the haul video. You definitely want to look for this particular brand, Cashmere sweaters. They sell for a very good amount of money. I had this listed for maybe 2 or 3 days, and it sold fairly quickly, and it sold internationally. I think it went to the UK and sold on Etsy. I have about $2, maybe $2 into it. The amount of clothing I paid less than $1 an item.
There you go.
It sold for $129.95. I made an additional $10 in shipping because of using Pirate Ship. There you go.
There you go. All right. Next up for me, this is another t-shirt that I got from the old Torgum. So if you remember, I had the Brigantine one I sold for 85, the Salt and Light Christian one I sold for 100, and then I have this T-shirt, American Ballet Theater, I sold for $99 on Grailed. The guy was trying to get me to go lower, and I had it priced at $99, but on Grailed I have $8 shipping, so I said basically like I'll sell it to you for $99 with free shipping. So I paid $10 for this. Again, I paid $10 for this because I got it at Torgum. It says American Ballet Theater. I didn't know anything about what the T-shirt was. I just knew that the graphic was really cool. It takes up the whole front of the T-shirt. And obviously it is definitely a vintage T-shirt. But when I was listing it, I realized it's actually a dance company in New York City. And it's like one of the biggest, most prestigious
premier dance
companies. Not a school, it's a company, dance company.
I believe this might have been where Hadassah danced. I don't even, you should have shown that to her.
But anyway, sold it for $99, paid $10 for it. And this is just kind of goes to show you, like, there's certain things that, like, you just have the instinct for the kind of stuff that might be worth selling. You don't have to have comps. You don't have to know.
You don't have to know everything about it.
Right. It's just like I saw this
find an exact comp.
I'll pay $10 for this. I think I can sell it.
So what? We've got Jason Deason in the house. So Jason and his wife are about to have their third baby girl, like any second now, I think. So thanks for popping into the chat, Jason. We haven't seen you in a while. I think you're a little bit busy. I mean, you know, 3 little girls and running a business and storage locker cleanouts and.
Yeah, you've had quite the year.
Whatever.
And all of it in 2020. So you're kind of an overachiever here. But anyway, $25 super chat. Jason says, been a while since I've said hello to you two beautiful ladies. Thanks, Jason.
You're such a dork.
Thank you. Anyway, Jason, we appreciate it. And I'm sure you have 500 storage lockers that you're neglecting right now by hanging out with us. So we really do appreciate it.
Yes, we do appreciate it.
For sure. All right. Next one up for you is this one.
Why does that photo look so weird?
I don't know. Why you
take such a blurry photo? Small. It's not. It's not blurry. It's not blurry at all. It's only blurry right there on the.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is what I wanted to. I did show this on my Instagram, but I know that only a very small portion of you guys look at Instagram. So I wanted to let you know this is do not leave behind good quality brands and good quality items when there's damage. I've talked about it before. I think I paid $5 for this. I think this Jesse from yesterday's fits gave me 2 of these robes.
Yeah. Give you a
$5 a piece because he doesn't want to list robes and he's not going to sell them at a store. One had some issues. I sold, this is the one that had issues. I sold the perfect one pretty quickly, but this one was sold very well as well. So there was a question in the chat that asked what the size M US letter meant. That's just the way that Etsy does their sizing. You're either going to choose a number size or a letter size. So that's what it means, whether it's men's or women's.
Yeah. So let's see.
So this sold on Etsy for $99.95. I actually, this one I took an offer. A buyer messaged me and I had changed the price. I don't know why it doesn't reflect that, but it sold for $89.95. And it did sell internationally as well. This also went to the United Kingdom, so I did make some money on the shipping. But you saw the pictures. There were some serious holes and some damage there. But it's Pendleton, and it's a vintage Pendleton, and it happens to be a good fabric. But I put right there that it had defects. I had to put it as a cutter. You can use it as whatever you want, but somebody paid $90 plus shipping for a robe that has holes in it.
Jacob says it's a Pearl Jam After Dark robe.
It could be.
Could be. All right, next up. Hold on. Next up for me, I have a couple. I'm just going to be showing the pictures for these because these are actually ones I sold on Instagram. So I think I've mentioned like last week that I've now bought like 4 bundles from what I call my super top secret seller. Somebody that I made a connection with that has tons of movie promo stuff. And so I've already bought a bunch from him. I'm going to be buying another. He says he's got like something like 300 movie promo hats from like the 90s. So I'm really hoping for hats have been becoming pretty popular right now as far as like the vintage movie promo stuff. When I watch like the Virtual Fleet and all the guys in that community, a lot of them have like, they definitely show like their hats off a lot. movie stuff. So anyway, so I've gotten a bunch of stuff recently. This is one of the t-shirts, Bad Boys. I actually have 4 of them, I think. Like 4 or 5 of this.
I would wear this if it fit me, because you know how I feel. Well, some of you know how I feel about a baseball raglan tee. That's like my favorite style of shirt.
And this is Sean Penn. Come on. This is like his first movie ever. And
it's too small for my
And
bust.
I'm pretty sure that I believe that Ali Sheedy, it's her first movie as well. This is from early 80s. Just a really cool. This is Bad Boys pre Will Smith and
stealing the name.
What's his name? Martin or whatever. Martin
Lawrence.
But anyway, just really cool shirt. And I have like I said, I have like 4 of them. So I posted it on Instagram, and one of the guys that I talk to somewhat regularly was like, hey, I want to grab that. How much? And so I sold it to him for $75. With this big batch of stuff I got, it averaged out to about $27 per item. So for this, especially because it's kind of a smaller size, like a medium, I was more than happy. Actually,
this
it was like a small.
Pre-Spicoli.
Yeah, it was. This is his first movie. I think this only measures like 17 inches across the chest, so it's really like a small. So $75 I thought was a fair deal. So I was pretty happy with that. So bam, no platform fees.
We do have a little super chat there from Danica. Danica is feeling guilty because she came in a little bit late. So
we're happy to be paid off.
We're happy you're here.
We're happy to be paid off, so we won't be, because usually we pay attention to the chat. If we see somebody enter late, we write you down our shit list.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you're in trouble, but not anymore because you gave us some cash money. So we appreciate it, Danica. Okay, so yeah, this was one of my Instagram sales from this last week. But man, it's nice not having to pay an extra 10, 12, 20% on top of that. To
my only Instagram followers are other resellers, so you ain't buying my shit. I'm not trying. Anyway. No, I'm not trying to sell my stuff on Instagram. Right, maybe if I did reseller boxes someday, you guys would buy them. But anyway,
what you got here?
So these are just some vintage. Again, I picked these up from Danny as well. I picked up this pair of boots and 2 leather jackets from her. These are vintage 80s, Harley boots. They are seriously beat up.
As they should be.
As they should be, just like the jacket. You can see where the buckle was a little bit missing. I mean, you clearly photographed and showed the damage and the and how much they're broken in. So I had $10 into these, and they sold on Etsy. Again, they were listed maybe a week or 2.
There you go.
Listed, they sold for $129.95 plus $15 shipping. And I did fit them into a medium flat rate box.
See.
Yeah, they sold and they went to New York. So Tracy, the money that is being sent, they're called super chats. And super chats are when you are a monetized YouTube channel, your fans or your followers, the people watching the show can pledge money as a gift to the people that are doing the show, because clearly we don't make a lot of money doing this show. We have a very small audience. And people pledge money during specific shows. YouTube keeps 1/3 of it.
It just highlights your comment and makes it stay up longer. And then sometimes I do a little song and dance.
And Katy does a little song.
Sometimes I make fun of you.
Sometimes.
You never know what you're paying for, but sometimes I'm just forgiving you for being late to the show. Danica.
Nice look. That's a nice look.
All right. Last item. Man, seriously, the shirt is awesome. So
yes, Liz is correct. It's like a tip jar. It's
there you go.
Tip jar.
There you go.
Yeah, Tracy, yes, YouTube keeps 1/3 of all super chat money.
Yeah. It's lame, but it is what it is. Okay, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt. Now, the sad thing is this is a child size, but I did get 3 of these in the last batch of stuff from my super top secret seller buddy that I've been buying stuff from. I got 3 of these t-shirts. They're from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 movie. What's really cool about the graphic on this is that, try as you might, you will not find this t-shirt anywhere in an adult size. If it wasn't an adult size, it would
have been a $400 t-shirt.
It possibly a good $250, $300 shirt at least. But anyway, I got like a couple, like one. This one's like size 14, 16. I think I got a couple of 10, 12s. But anyway, I have sold one of them so far, again, to somebody on Instagram, and again for $75 because I paid like 26 for it. You know, I went a little lower price because obviously it's kid size. I've already listed the other two on eBay and my other platforms, and I have them priced at like $100, although I take like offers on that. But you know, you're just not going to get as much money with the kid size stuff. But all these people that are crazy about vintage right now are also a lot of people that have kids right now, and some of them want to put their kids in cool vintage gear. So there's no way they're going to pay as much as they would for an adult size, but they might throw down 75, 80 bucks for a cool vintage t-shirt. So
it's true.
All right.
They will.
That's it. Beep-a-doop-a-doo. That was the
signal of the
segue.
end.
That was the segue music that takes us out of the sales highlights and into our haul section.
Video.
Into our haul section. Barbara Colson.
She just wants you to sing.
Our very own Barbara Colson has given a $10 super chat and says thanks for all your tips, help, and encouragement.
Barbara, we should say the same to you. We love you. Barbara is the admin. No offense, Liz, because I know that you're in the chat as well, but I think we can all agree that Barbara is the hardest working admin in the Boss Facebook group. I swear she sees every single one, and that includes us and Teresa, who owns the group. So I will say that she works harder than any of us. She sees every post, every comment, answers, and gives so much help and feedback. So we should be tipping you, honey. But thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, she says, Liz says, I don't tip and I miss a lot of stuff in that group. LOL.
Us too.
Yeah. But thank you, Barbara. We really appreciate it for sure. Okay, so do you want to jump on over into our haul?
Sure.
What do you got? You
want me to do this first because it's here?
Well, so all your stuff is from you went out to a few thrift stores?
Yes, I hit 2 thrift stores. I hit 2 stores on Friday by myself. That was it.
Yeah.
2 stores.
See ya. And I stayed here.
It was hot. It's so hot. You know, listen, I get it. The store is air conditioned. The car is air conditioned. Let me tell you something. Getting into the car after being in the store for an hour and driving to the next location takes forever for the car to cool down. The car's at 120 bazillion degrees. It is not fun thrifting in this heat. When we went a couple weeks ago, or like a week and a half ago, I went out with Corey, and she and I went out for the day, or for half of the day at least, and we were dying after the 3rd or 4th store. It takes so much out of you when it's this hot. But anyway, so I did 2 stores, and I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. Too hot, too lazy. But please, let's go to Phoenix and source for 3 days.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, that's because you'll have me driving you around.
That's true. That's true. It's exhausting in
and
the
I
heat.
start the car before we get into it.
She's good. She's good like that. Yeah. Barbara is super admin. This is true. So Barbara, we appreciate you.
Here, let me lift it up.
This is no, I paid. So first of all, I paid. This was $12.99. And I actually had a 20% off coupon. I couldn't believe that it was only $12.99. So we do have a remote starter for our car, and we do start it.
Sometimes it's not close enough though to the.
Yeah, it depends on where we're going. So I picked up this vintage coffee carafe. This sucker is heavy. It was like I said, it was on. It has these little lion's head. If any of my vintage peeps are watching this, let me know if you have any tips on this. But I do believe that this is brass, and I think that this is copper. This is copper lined. It is heavy as hell, and it was only like $10. So the brand is nothing specific, but it is vintage. I would say it's probably like a 60s or 70s. It's not like 100 years old vintage. But it's really heavy, and it's definitely worth more than the $10 that I paid for it. I haven't decided when I'm going to list it yet because I haven't really done any research on it. I was only able to find one other one in a quick, and it wasn't by brand. So I've got to do a little bit more in-depth research. It's pretty heavy. I don't know what I'm going to list it for yet, but it's going to be well over $100. I'm not sure exactly what it will be. But I thought it was pretty cool for $10.
Very nice, very
yeah,
nice.
I'm thinking probably like 150 plus shipping because the sucker weighs like at least 10, 12 pounds.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be too hard to ship, Barbara, because it's actually, even though it's big, it's cylindrical. Yeah, I saw the one for $200 too. I don't think it's the exact same one, but anyway, I want to say it's probably
cooler.
No, it's probably about the same, but needs a little bit of cleaning. Do some styrofoam in a big enough box. It won't be too hard to ship. It's not like an odd shape, and it certainly isn't going to break. So yeah, $10. I mean, probably like 150 to 200.
I don't know.
I've got to do a little bit more research. It does have the branding on the bottom, and it's not a super old brand, but I wasn't able to find any info on the brand. So that was pretty cool. I did get a couple of gifts when Katy went to Torgum last week. I did not show them. So she came back.
Was kind of demanding and demanded that I bring me back a present.
So she did.
So I brought her back 3 presents.
Yep, she brought me 3 presents. Yep.
Maybe 4. Was there 4?
There were 3.
I don't know.
3 presents, and this one is one of my favorites. I already have it listed, but this is a vintage Ski-Doo racing team 90s puffer jackets. And I think she paid like $10 for it.
It's 15.
Okay, 15. I have it listed for 300. I'll probably get close to 200 for it. But it's just this great color block, yellow and purple with like the checkerboard. It's pretty fantastic. It's a really big one. Mm-hmm. So she didn't buy me the presents to keep. We know better. I buy her presents. She buys me presents. They're to sell. They're not to keep or wear. But anyway, this is a really good size. Vintage clothing is really hard to find in larger sizes. So when you do, it goes faster. And this is like a 2XL. Oh. So I have it listed for 300 now, and I already have a couple of watchers on it. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see where it goes.
What else did I get you?
You had to ask me that. They're on the bottom of the pile.
Because you talked about me getting you stuff.
All right. So the other thing that she got me, these 2 other things. They're the same thing, just 2 different patterns. We all know how I feel about the vintage Pendleton, guys, right?
And me too.
Yep, and Katy too. So vintage Pendleton. This is a vintage Pendleton smoking jacket. So see how it's long? It's got like a 4-button. It's almost like a blazer, but it's 4 buttons in the front.
Lounging.
4 buttons in the front and the 2 long pockets down at the bottom. And then this is late 60s, early 70s. It's going to have the woven like leather buttons. And this particular one is a specific tartan plaid. And I love when they tell you that. It's on the sleeve, I think. Yeah.
Where's the other one?
Sometimes Pendleton has things labeled with the type of plaid it is. So this one, let me see, get a little closer so you can.
Don't punch him in the face.
There you go. Yep. An authentic McPherson red tartan plaid.
Well, it's got reds and greens in it, so I think it'll be really good for the holidays.
Yeah, so I have this listed right now for about $200. They generally sell for around the $100 range, but I always price things high. You guys know that. So I have it priced around $200. Gives me plenty of wiggle room.
And I feel like the smoking lounge jackets, which is what these are, I feel like it's another one that people really underprice. Mm-hmm. And they really do bring in at least 100, 125.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I can get a little bit more. That pattern is just a really great pattern. This one is also a very good pattern, but it is not quite as popular as that one. Same year, same era, I should say. Same type of buttons, everything. She found them in the same place. They were probably from the same person. None of these have any moth holes, by the way. They're in excellent, excellent shape. But this one is kind of that lighter, not quite a shadow plaid, but this lighter big plaid. It's in brown and beige and not quite as exciting as the red and green.
These were $18 a piece.
Oh.
Yeah. I paid up for them, but $18 is definitely worth it.
It's a steal for a gift, right?
Yeah.
So that one would probably sell for, again, I have that listed around the $200 range too. It'll probably sell for around 130 or so when we get right down to it. So those were my gifts.
You're welcome.
My gifts that I wanted to show. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, Allison is in the chat. I found for the very first time, and I think she just found them for the first time as well in the last week or so. I saw on her Instagram. I found this is the brand. This is a brand you want to look for. So Dixon is a plaid. It's kind of it's a flannel shirt brand. They sell other things too, but the Dixon flannel shirts are a bolo. So it's not like a super high-end brand, but I think I can get probably $50 for this.
Nice.
So
very nice.
Do you want to go now?
Yeah. All right. So I just got a bunch of different things. So here's the here's my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirts. Woo woo woo. Woo woo woo. So I bought from my super top secret seller. I also did some, I'm always scouring eBay and Etsy and other selling platforms for some kind of super deals I can swoop in on, particularly if somebody miscategorizes something and I jump in there and take advantage because that's what you got to do, right? Anyway, so I picked up this t-shirt. This is The Thing. And the movie The Thing, which I love, 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 love. And it kind of, you know, you look at it and it's like, okay, there's no copyright information on it. It doesn't have like a date or anything like that. It's literally just the graphic, kind of like an iron-on. If you look really close, you can see there's like a little bit of wear to it. And so some people might see this and not realize that this is like an official t-shirt or anything. It's a blue t-shirt. It's got the old early to mid 80s Hanes tag on it right there. You can see that right there. What are you doing? Some research over here?
I am. So I was looking at, so Kara had said to use samovar in the title. I probably would anyway, but honestly, it's not quite as ornate as a samovar usually is. Samovar is a type of coffee urn. But I would probably use it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I picked this up for I think like $50 on eBay, and I actually went ahead and I found one on Etsy and I swooped in and bought that one too for $50 as well. Because what this is actually the original 1982 promo t-shirt that the movie studio sent out to like all the different vendors and stuff like that. So this, if you go and you like do any kind of like Google search and look for the shirts that look like this that have been sold in the past, they pretty much all look the same. They look like this. They're on blue. Most of them have the exact same tag, if not a different tag from that era. So I imagine that the movie studio or the people, whoever was in charge of the marketing at that time for that movie, you know, they basically made a bunch of blue t-shirts and sent these puppies out. Mm-hmm. And so this is just a really cool piece of history. I love, love, love.
That's a pretty cool one.
John Carpenter, and I love Kurt Russell. And this is hands down, one of my favorite movies, horror movies / sci-fi movies. Just a really good film. And so I love that I got this. And right now I have it listed for like, I think like $300. I'd like to be able to sell it for like $250. But like I said, I got this one and I have another one coming. Really cool t-shirt.
Oh, so a lot of people are saying those Dixon shirts are selling for upwards of $100. Oh, well, then I will definitely be listing at that high. I will say that when we do these haul videos, by the way, very rarely have either of us researched anything by the time we get here. That for me, I just picked up Friday. I haven't even looked up Dixon. I just knew it was a good brand. I couldn't even tell you what I would have sold it for. But believe me, if they're selling anywhere near 100, I'm going to have mine listed for like 200. So
yeah, pretty much.
I won't undersell it. I promise you that.
All right, so so I've been getting like, you know, all this stuff from this guy, and some of the stuff I got duplicates. This is like a sleeveless Stallone Rambo First Blood Part 2 sleeveless t-shirt.
You need to have some serious guns to wear that.
Yeah, or like, just not give a shit and be like, I'm going to show my non-serious guns.
My scrawny guns.
I'm going to show the world that I don't care. Anyway, a lot of the stuff is like from the home video release, and so you can see the back. So like a lot of the stuff probably came from like video rental places and stuff.
The guy probably owned a Blockbuster or something.
Well, he's a collector too. So, but he's got like a bunch of stuff. But anyway, I got like 5 of these, and it's a smaller size. The tag says large. It measures more like a medium. So I'll probably end, you know, I have them listed at like $100 a piece, but I'll probably sell them for like around $75 a piece. But again, I paid like $26 a piece for them, and it's just a really cool shirt. You gotta love Rambo. And what I love is, you know, I've gotten some really cool stuff. Like last week when I did the virtual flea, like one of the things I sold was this Jason Goes to Hell t-shirt that sold for $425. So that was definitely something that's like really, really in demand right now, that kind of, you know, horror stuff. But I love that I've been getting like kind of these more obscure like 70s and 80s stuff. This t-shirt is probably one of my favorite things I've gotten from this guy. Skateboard the movie. So this is a 1978 movie with teen heartthrob Leif Garrett.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So Skateboard the movie, it says Skateboard, the movie that defies gravity. It's just an awesome graphic. But this is like an 80s t-shirt. So this was from, again, the home video release, Vista Home Video.
How many people does that bring back to? Like Vista Home Video, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So just like a really, really, really cool t-shirt. I love it. It's on like the tag's like all worn out because all this stuff was dead stock, but because it had been in storage and stuff, I washed everything because, you know,
bleached everything.
Some people get really weird about the whole like, oh, it's dead stock, you can't wash it. When it comes to vintage t-shirts and stuff, I think you're better off washing it and getting any storage discoloration or musty smells because it's in great condition, but the nap tag's all faded. But who cares? It's a nice, beautiful white t-shirt. So,
and it was gross before you washed it.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really. This one wasn't really gross, but it had some yellowing on it, and now it's completely gone. So.
Dead stock with yellowing is not. It's definitely better to sell it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Clean and white.
It's a t-shirt. If it's in good condition and it's something that people want, it's going to sell for good money. It's not the same thing as an action figure in a box. It's like you're better off having a clean, pre-owned t-shirt in great condition than a dead stock, dirty t-shirt. You know, it's just the way it is.
It's not the case with everything you sell that is vintage, but
right.
T-shirts for sure.
Another Bad Boys t-shirt. This one I think I'm going to get a lot of love in the chat from this one. This is another one of my favorites that came out of the last box I got.
What do you mean, Bird?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
What do you mean, Bird?
So I don't know how many of you guys loved Ernest P. Worrell. Okay, he had in '85. This t-shirt's from 1985. So this is actually very early in his career. The TV show was like later.
He died, didn't he?
Yeah, he died like a few years back, or like 15 years back. No, he might have died like in 2000, something like that. Anyway, from lung cancer, I think. He was a heavy smoker.
I think it was lung cancer.
Anyway, Jim Varney, he was super, super funny. And anyway, this t-shirt came out in '85. It was a couple of years later that his actual television show was out, which really didn't last that long. But I remember when I was a kid. And then he did all the movies. Like, I think the first one was Ernest Goes to Camp, which is one of my favorite ones. But there's like Ernest Scared Stupid. There's Ernest Saves Christmas.
I've never seen any of them. And no, you are not making me watch them. I'm going to tell you right now.
I wouldn't make you watch those.
But I know who he is. I know who he is from the commercials and from movie previews, but I never saw the movies.
But this right here, I think, is just the quintessential t-shirt if you are a Jim Varney, Ernest P. Worrell
fan. He did a lot of 7-Up commercials.
Yeah.
So he did do national commercials too.
You know what else he's famous for?
Hey,
you know what else he's
what?
He did the voice for the Slinky in Toy Story 1 and 2.
I did not know that.
So anyway, just really cool shirt. So again, probably paid about $26 for this. I will sell for, I think I have it listed at $150. I think the lowest I'll go is like $125. But just a really cool t-shirt. Super, super cool. All right, you can go ahead.
Oh, I can I?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. So let's see. One of the things I picked up from that big clothing lot that Sally and Rudy picked up for me is this ridiculous jumpsuit. So listen, if you want to be Peggy Bundy every day of your life, this is the kind of jumpsuit that you want.
It's pretty nice.
So it's ridiculous, but it's super nice. It's got the nice shoulder pads, and it has nice big baggy legs, and it has a tie belt that has a floral print, as well as the this leopard print here. So there's that fancy jumpsuit.
Very fancy.
And then it has the matching fancy cardigan type jacket thing that goes over it, because you need to have the finishing touches. But see, the flowers are very Hawaiian looking. It's got like very plumeria looking Hawaiian. So it's like this jungle cat, Carol Baskin, flower child hideousness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know what to do with this thing. I have it listed pretty high. I think you need to have some really big hair, have a cigarette hanging out of your mouth, like Jacob says. I think somebody needs to be, if this would fit me, I would totally be Peg Bundy for Halloween. This would be the best costume for Peg Bundy. I just, it's too small for me.
There you go. There you go.
But I would wear that in a minute. Let me see. Sandra said, speaking of married with children, Rebecca has met Amanda. Oh, and she had no clue who she was. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's because she's just a baby.
Listen, I'm sorry. This is the hell that is your life, because you are a cougar and your wife is so much younger than you that as far as pop culture, you are in different worlds. Let's see. The other thing I picked up, and this is not, I talk about this brand frequently, and I know you've all heard me talk about it, and most of you probably know about it by now, but Eileen Fisher. Eileen Fisher is a women's brand that you always want to pick up when you find it. It's a high-end, expensive women's brand. This dress is new with tags. I paid $6, and it's just, honestly, it's just a basic black maxi dress that's like double-lined, and it is plus size. And it cost me $6, and I'm probably going to sell it for like $150. It's crazy. Let's see. Allison, I wonder what that's like, Sandra. Yeah, that's both of you. Both of you cougars.
And you.
I am not a cougar. It is a 4-year age difference. You are not that young, bitch. Nice try. Nice try. Let's see. Another thing I picked up, I paid $4 for this. This is actually a vintage Hawaiian muumuu. It's kind of a great color. It's very long.
I love the green.
It's very basic, but it's a great green color. It has a snap up the back. I don't see any tags. It could be homemade, pretty common for vintage clothing. It probably is homemade. The only problem with it is that it's a pretty small size. Vintage muumuus and muumuus in general, the bigger they are, the faster they're going to sell and the higher the price. So when they're small, like this is a small, it's underarm to underarm, it's pretty tight. So I would say it's probably a small. I think it's probably like 32 or 34 inches, which is fairly small for a muumuu. This will sit a little bit longer, and it'll probably only sell for in the $40 to $50 range. So Kara, that one might fit you. It's a tiny one. Do you want to go?
Sure. Okay. All right. So the rest of the stuff I have to show, I actually have hanging up over here because it's stuff I'm going to be taking pictures of tomorrow, so I don't want to mess it up. But I got a few things. This one I might hang on to for a while. Vicky's really excited about it. I bought it from somebody on Instagram, so I did pay up for it. But it's a really cool Stephen King T-shirt. This is WZON in Bangor. I think this was like, didn't he have like a real radio station?
He had a radio station, yeah.
So this is not the original T-shirt. This is the very similar graphic to what was on the original T-shirt that was made back at that time. This T-shirt is late 90s, early 2000s. It's like basically like somebody redid it and put like his signature on it. I think the original one, his signature was on the back. So this is, but still just a really, really cool kind of piece of history. And for anybody who's like a huge Stephen King fan, eventually it's got all kinds of cool stuff. Like it's got like oh, you point out, do you see what stuff that stands out to you?
I mean, it has Christine, it has the little pet cemetery, it has,
you see the little newspaper boat.
Oh, it has a little newspaper boat for it. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna put this up for sale.
I can't wear men's T-shirts. It's not something. But this is a fantastic shirt. I love the graphic. If this were on a baseball T-shirt, she knows she would lose it to me.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't lose it.
Oh, but, yeah, you'd lose it.
You'd be paying for it. But yeah, when I do sell this, I'll probably sell it. I probably would do like $250 or more. It's just a really cool T-shirt. And then I have
favorite author ever.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. So I've got like Steven Seagal, Marked for Death. Again, this is all from that guy that I bought like a bunch of movie stuff from. I've got The Doors. This is The Doors movie. That
was when Val Kilmer was probably the hottest he's ever been in his life.
Yeah, Val Kilmer plays Jim Morrison. It's just
and then he ate Jim Morrison.
Yeah, this is just a really cool promo shirt from the movie. I also want to use this as a PSA. I talk a lot about taking care of stains and stuff like that. And in the past, I would soak white T-shirts. Depending on how bad it is, when I got this shirt, it actually had a bunch of yellowing all over it. And let me tell you, for the most part, most of it I can get out just by bleaching the shit out of it. So, and I know I've seen people before, like in comments and in chats and stuff like that, say like, oh, if you bleach something, it's going to yellow it. That's certain fabrics. I think linen is one of them. There are certain fabrics where bleach can actually yellow it. But
not cotton.
But 100% cotton, bleach is fantastic. So depending on what the stain is, sometimes there are some yellow stains that, depending on what, you don't know what it is, it's almost impossible to get out. But for the most part, like my whites, I have basically just been throwing in the wash. We have a setting that has like a pre-soak, and so I'll throw it in the wash, turn it on, let the water run for a little bit, open it back up, and I ran out of the little tablets, my bleach balls. So I literally just bought a gallon of bleach, and I open that sucker up. I don't measure it. I literally dump a bunch of bleach in there, and maybe
the whole house smells like bleach.
It does. Maybe I'm being a little risky. Maybe one of these days I'm going to damage some of the stuff. But let me tell you, so far, this came out so crisp and white. You're right here. You can attest to it. Not a single stain on it. It looks fantastic. And almost everything that I put in there that's white comes out perfect. So don't be scared of bleach. Does not hurt the print at all. Does not hurt the print. I've got this awesome Mars Attacks t-shirt. It's kind of a smaller shirt, but it's really, really cute. Really, really cute. This one I actually bought from somebody in, I think, Malaysia on Etsy, and it took like a month to get to me. It was a good deal, and I'm going to make some money off it. This was also from my super top secret seller. Another kid size, but oh my goodness, guys. Look how cute this is. Bad News Bears in Breaking Training. More bad news. How cute is this little t-shirt? Just the most adorable thing ever. I will probably try to sell this for like $180 to $100. This is just the most adorable little t-shirt. I think for these like smaller shirts, and same with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I actually think they'd be really cool for somebody who's a big movie collector to like buy and put in a frame or something. Because it's still like, you know, the graphics great. You're not going to wear it, but you can still have a little bit of piece of the history like up on your wall. I love it. A little sad this is a tank top, but check it out, guys. Goodfellas. It's like the blockbuster movie release of Goodfellas on the tank top.
Forget about it.
Forget it. How much stuff do you have left?
Like 4 things.
All right, why don't you go ahead and show yours, and then I'll show the rest of mine.
Let's see. What else do I have? So I talk about this, like, I don't always pick up Robert Graham stuff. It tends to be overpriced in a thrift store. And it's kind of not, it's lost its luster a little bit on some stuff. But this is a super, super bright pattern with the flip cuff contrast sleeves. This is and I paid, you can see there, $5 for this one. I did offer it to Casey. It is too big. Or else he would have wanted it if it was an extra large. If you find really cool extra large Robert Graham shirts, hit up Casey. He'll buy it. He'll buy them. But I would have given it to my buddy. It's just too big. So it's just this really cool. I paid $5. Because it's a big size and it's a really good bright one, I'll probably sell it for $60 or $70 or so. I always talk about picking up vintage bathrobes, vintage robes, both for men and for women. This is a men's vintage robe. It's the brand is actually called State of Maine. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. I'm not sure that it's vintage. I don't think it is vintage. I think it's just a brand that's sold now.
You can still make some money off it.
But it's okay. I will still sell. I paid $3. I guarantee I'm going to sell this for about $60, $65. It's just a cotton men's robe. It has a really great pattern on it. And let's see. This is my last item that I picked up that I wanted to show. I don't always pick these clothes up, but I will tell you they are almost always the most beautiful clothes that you will find inexpensively at a thrift store. If anyone knows anything about Indian women's wear, you will find a lot of it is handmade, like women that wear the saris and the kurtas and those type of dresses and long tops and flowing pants. You find them, at least here in the West or the Southwest, you find them at thrift stores all the time, and they're very inexpensive, and they're usually the most beautiful fabrics with lots of detailing, but they're all handmade. And because they're handmade, they're very difficult to sell. I made the mistake of picking them up a lot early on when I lived here because I thought they were so beautiful. They had to sell for something, but unfortunately, they're very hard to sell. I did pick this up because it has a tag, and I was able to look up the brand, and because it's a very, very very fancy, very well made. It's like an Indian wedding dress. It's a little bit more fancy than the day-to-day type of kurta or dress. So it's a maxi, like it's very long. It has this beautiful gold fabric, and it has all this information underneath, and it still has the price tag on it and everything like that. It's a brand new piece. It's gorgeous. I mean, it was sold for 6,595 rupees, I believe, in India, but it's a beautiful piece. So I don't know what I'm going to sell it for yet, but I paid a website you can look at. I paid $10 for it. I think it's probably at least a $75 to $100 one. I had to pick it up because it was just so beautifully made. I mean, these are the little ties that go on the end, and they go around the neck. It's gorgeous. They're all, I find them all the time, and it makes me so sad that they do not sell for more online. And I think it's just because this culture tends to make a lot of their clothing handmade, and the older women make it, and they're not buying them online or buying something pre-owned from a thrift store. But they're gorgeous, and I couldn't leave that one behind with that. Oh, and I've just one more thing. This is just another Eileen Fisher dress that I had picked up. It was only $4. This one is just a lightweight little cotton shift, and this will probably sell for like $45 to $50.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna finish up.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got.
All right, so my two super top secret seller. I bought mostly movie stuff from him, but the last batch of stuff I got, he had a couple of band T-shirts, and he had this one, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that, and I didn't bother to like look it up or anything. But this one, I really need to figure out how to get. Is there anybody? I know we've talked about this before, but like the underarm. This is actually kind of like hard. Anyway, it's a vintage Offspring T-shirt from '99, I believe. The copyright's really, really faded, 98, 99. It's on a giant tag. But this shirt should be able to sell for $150 to $200. I do need to see, like, would vinegar break this down? Would baking soda? Somebody comment in the chat or in this video later what I can do to like break down this stuff, because it's really annoying, and I just need it to at least not be
somebody's deodorant grossness.
It's this has been washed, but it still has that. But it's nice, and the rest of it's nice and faded perfectly. But this should be like a $200 T-shirt.
So to answer your question, Tracy, I sell handmade clothing all the time, especially vintage handmade. Most vintage clothing, not most, but at least 50% of the vintage clothing that you're going to find out there is going to be handmade, and that is not a detriment to the selling, and nor does it mean that it's worth anything any less than store made. With regard to Indian clothing specifically, that type of clothing that I'm talking about, a lot of that is handmade, and because it's made specifically to fit a certain person, it's usually the older women and the older generation are making them for members of their family. That is going to affect the pricing. That type of clothing does not sell very well on the secondary market at all. So the only reason I picked this up is because it had a tag in it. I used to pick up that clothing all the time thinking it had to sell well because it's gorgeous and it's beautifully made and it's rich, luxurious fabrics and lots of detailing and hand stitching. And unfortunately, there's not a big secondary market for it. And I got stuck with a lot of it at any given price. So I hope that answers your question.
I feel like Jacob will appreciate this shirt. Yeah, I have two of them. Xanadu. I got two of these.
Dana would like this shirt if it were bigger too.
Yeah, they're both the same size, I think, kind of smaller. But I got a couple of Xanadu T-shirts. So I don't know how many of you guys are Xanadu fans, or if you only liked her in Greece. I got this is awesome. I love this movie, Amadeus. I think wasn't it like, didn't it win Best Picture like 1980?
I think it also had best. I think it had best soundtrack that year too.
Yeah, such a good movie, And this is one of those home video, HBO video release T-shirts.
Amadeus is a great movie.
Such a good movie. And I'm not a huge fan of like period pieces and stuff like that.
Oh, I am. I love them all. I love them all.
I really have to be in the right mood for them. But
I can't watch it while I'm working. They're too detailed. But
this movie is so good It's just so good. I love it. So I was really excited about this t-shirt. Let's see. I've got good old Chuck Norris Code of Silence. And again, this is that same back.
Somebody needs to make a Chuck Norris joke right now because it's not going to be me. I can't think of one fast enough, but
there you go. Pretty good. Pretty good. I've got, let's see what else. Oh, this one I'm actually really excited about. Speaking of Stephen King, Vikki likes this book, but she's never seen the movie. The movie Dreamcatcher. Can you help me straighten that out so you can actually see what it says? Dreamcatcher, and if you notice, it's like that. It looks like it's a leech or something, but it's actually like those blood-sucking things that are like alien things in the movie. First of all, baseball tee, but what's really awesome, this is actually the FX crew from 2002. So this movie came out in 2002. This is a crew t-shirt. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. The book is good too. The book's great.
The book is always better.
Yeah, but I like the movie too. So I think this is a great movie. I was really excited to get this shirt, this t-shirt. Another one, I wish it was a t-shirt, not a tank top, but Flatliners, the movie Flatliners. Remember that movie that had everybody in it?
That's Kiefer Sutherland. What's her name?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know who else was in this.
And then the back of it has the little heartbeat thing going on. Super, super cool. I'm telling you guys.
That was a good movie.
This has been like probably my best connection I've ever made. Because I've gotten so much really cool stuff out of it. Here's the last t-shirt, really cool Lost in Space t-shirt, the old school, the robot. What's his name? Is that Robbie the Robot or whatever his name?
I don't know.
Anyway, cool Lost in Space t-shirt from the 90s. And then that's it.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon was in Flatliners too.
Yeah, they had everybody. It had everybody, I feel like.
Was Kira Sedgwick in it too, his wife, before she was his wife? I think she was in it too.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, and I got a bunch of jackets too, but I'm going to show you this one because I love it. It's a satin bomber. It says US, it's embroidered USA right here, but the back, this was the home video release of Supergirl. Remember Supergirl?
And not the new Supergirl.
No, the Supergirl movie that had, what's her name in it?
I don't remember.
I gotta think of her name. Somebody out there is gonna know. Anyway, blonde from the 80s. Yeah, so just an awesome, awesome jacket.
Tracy Kangardi wants to know what size is the Robbie the Robot tee? It's one of the bigger sizes. It looks like
one of the bigger sizes.
Hold on, hold please.
Hold please. Might be an XL. No, it's just a large. For balloon, large. So it's probably like, I bet it's probably like 21 inches across the chest. It's a really cool t-shirt. I haven't priced that one yet, but Supergirl. What the heck is her name? Somebody out there.
They said a bunch
Helen
of
Slater. Okay,
Helen Slater.
There you go. Anyway, so that's it. That's everything I have to show. I had a million other things, but I can only show you guys so much before this one's eyes roll into the back of her head.
It's true.
But seriously, keep an eye out. If you're not following either one of us on Instagram, you know, I have my Instagram. It's Katy Zilberberg. I hardly ever post on there. I've always been terrible about it. Vikki posts on her Instagram, LVPinkPeacock, all the time. She shows like a lot of her solds and stuff like that. So it's a really great place to follow her and keep up on like some of the really cool stuff that she sells for ridiculous prices. So it's definitely good for bolos and stuff. And if you follow me on A Boutique for Him on Instagram, that's where I do my store stuff. So I'm trying to keep up on every single day posting stuff. And that's where you're going to see some of the cooler stuff that I pick up along the way. So yeah, follow me there if you want to see some of the t-shirts that I'm finding all the time. So anyway, anywho,
so we will be heading to Phoenix on Friday and hanging out with Teresa, hopefully for a bunch of the time on Saturday, now that her mom is feeling better. We are super happy because we've now been to the Arizona area twice since COVID has begun, and we have not been able to spend time with Teresa, who is one of our dearest friends, and her mom has been very ill, and we had to make sure that we kept our distance to protect mom. But mom is feeling a lot better, and she's no longer a great risk, so I think she's going to get mom a babysitter and come and hang out with us for a bit on Saturday, so that will be fun.
Yeah. And luckily, our little pupperonis, our pups here, have Auntie Dana coming to stay with them.
We have the best house sitter in the world.
And she brings her husband Johnny, and the dogs love them. So,
and they just live here. They move in while we're gone.
So Dana will be here to karate chop anyone who tries to mess with her house, and she'll take care of the dogs because they love her.
They love when she's here because
she gives them treats.
They get lots of treats.
They get they get treats, but they also get like nonstop attention. Like I think Johnny I think Johnny like cuddles with the dogs like the whole day. So
Pretty
they
much.
get a lot more love and affection and treats from them than they do from us probably. So anyway, oh wow, Allison says that Casey and the kids are going to Massachusetts for a whole month. She's gonna be a listing fool. You better get every single thing listed. Get together a game plan, and I want to see those numbers go up. When are they going to Massachusetts? That's gonna be crazy.
A month.
You can like if it's coming up soon, you're gonna have like the best fourth quarter ever because you're gonna get everything listed, right? You're not gonna go source instead.
Auntie Dana came to visit the dogs last week, and she did kiss Grizz. You can kiss Grizz and not die from her breath now.
She's got the sweetest breath now. I love it. She like sleeps inside. I call it her cave bed. It's one of those beds that's just like a cave, and she goes down inside it. I can put my whole face in there, and I don't pass out. It's great.
It's not going to kill you. She's got no teeth.
Well, she all of her teeth that she has left are on the bottom. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Yeah, we'll have our show next Sunday. Might be at the same time, maybe not. We'll see if there's any reason that we need to like have it be at a different time than what we normally have, just because we're also going to be trying to thrift the whole time we're there. So,
so Melissa, no, we will not be doing a meetup while we're there. It's just for the weekend. It's just to source for us. It's only Friday through Sunday, and it's a 6-hour drive each way. So no, there's no time for a meetup. Yeah. Also, you know, Arizona is a mask mandatory state, and honestly, this is not the time for meetups right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's you know, we have a monthly meetup that we run here that I have not had a meetup since January. We tried one a couple of weeks ago, well, like 6 weeks ago, and because we were dying to get together, and we still only had 10 people show up, and we had to wear masks, and it was impossible to talk. It was just
Anyway, all right. So we really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us, and we will see you on Sunday. Go and have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the fact that you don't have to ship tomorrow because it is a holiday. I will be taking advantage of that by spending the whole day taking a bazillion trillion pictures because I have a whole lot of stuff that needs to be photographed to last me over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.